Hey guys, Kim here. You are tuned back into the Digital MP, a place where healthcare professionals can learn how to grow and build a strong personal brand. Now, for the month of January, I'm talking all things video. Okay. And if you have not, I've already put out a video where I've already talked about how I personally use video to promote my personal brand and my business. And so today I thought that the next step would be, well, if I'm going to get on video, Kim, how am I confident on camera? What does my camera presence should be? How should that be? And so today we're going to talk about how to be more confident on camera. So the reason why it's very important to talk about this subject is because many people get very nervous when it comes to camera, and being in front of a camera, talking, being on video. And I get it. I was there at the beginning when I first started my YouTube channel. I was the same way as well. Okay. And it's weird. It's kind of awkward, especially many times you're going to be sitting in front of a camera talking to a camera and nobody's in the room, and that can feel weird and that can feel odd. Okay. So I thought that it would be really good for me to give you some tips that have helped me, and tips that I give people that I work with and I advise on how to be more comfortable in front of the camera. We've all seen people online, and we none of us want to be those people that are kind of cringe. And so my heart always goes out to people when I see some, and you can tell that they're not comfortable. And I just want to tell them, like, this is what you should do. This is what you can do to like loosen up. And so today that's what I'm going to share with you. So let's go ahead and get into the tips. So I have 4 tips for you. And so the first one is set the scene. Okay. So what does that look like? Okay. Set the scene. So, of course, obviously, get your background together, right? And as you can see, and you all can't see the whole gallery wall, but I have a lot of things up on the wall that represent me. That when you are to know me is to know that these are elements of my personality. Now, it doesn't have to be this elaborate. When I first got started, I was sitting up against a blank wall. Even if it's just that, have that. Get you something that has something that is not distracting, or if you want to have a nice background, many times I have my candle burning, I have my little table light that's on, because there is a vibe that I am not only trying to set for my audience, but I'm also trying to set for myself. So for me, setting the scene is just as important for me as it is for me setting the scene for you all. Okay. For one, when it comes to setting the scene for you all, I really want you all to get the essence of who I am. Like, I hope that that comes across on camera, of like what kind of person I am. And then also, it's also a remembrance for me to get into the mood of recording, videos, because creating content can be, it can be dubious, it can be long, it takes a lot of consistency. You really have to be committed to it. So being able to come into my office, have a setup that inspires me, things that inspire me, things that make me feel good and make me smile, having that where I can see it on camera, that helps me to keep going and to stay consistent. So the background is important, but also set the scene with yourself. Like for me, a lot of times when I'm getting ready, and at this point, and let me say this before I share this. I see a lot of people who put off getting in front of the camera because you think everything has to be perfect. Now, I want you to know this, that like what y'all see behind me is not what I started with. You know, I didn't let this keep me from starting. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I didn't have a beautiful bookshelf that had the books displayed well, or a beautiful mirror behind me, I didn't let that keep me from starting. like I told y'all, I literally had like a blank background. I then got like a big sheet of fabric that I thought was pretty, and I put that on something, hung that on something behind me. I've gone through multiple different types of backgrounds. I've had myself sitting in a chair. I used to shoot, a lot of my videos were shot in my big yellow chair, armchair that's sitting over there. But as I have changed in my brand, as my life has changed, my room that I shoot in, which is my home office, it's changed. So this has been a work in progress. So I don't want you to look at this and feel like this is what you have to have. If you just have a blank wall, you're good. All right. You don't have to have all that. And even with that, you can just sit on a couch, honestly. Just sit, just put a camera on and just go. But whatever makes you comfortable, do that. That's what I mean by setting the stage. Okay. And so going a little further into that as well is set the scene, set the stage with yourself internally as well. So, it's a little easier for men than it is for women, because for women, we're thinking about our hair, we're thinking about our makeup and all that stuff like that. I would say whoever you are in your real life, that's how you should show up on camera. And I've said this before, but I'm saying this more in line with like how your appearance is. So if you're a person who doesn't wear makeup all the time, don't feel the pressure to put on a pound of makeup. Like if you don't wear lipstick, don't put on lipstick, because again, that's going to not translate authentically, right? Be your authentic self. Now, of course, I think we all will want to look our best, because you never know who's going to see your video. So you probably do want to comb your hair. You probably do want to make sure that you don't have something in your teeth, and you want to do those things, but it's not something that like, okay, I'm gonna have to go get my hair done and makeup done every time I get on. Those are just barriers, y'all. Again, don't allow this to keep you from starting, but set the scene for yourself. So some of the things that I like to do is, as I am, for me, I do time to time wear makeup. You'll see me wear makeup a lot of times, but today I have nothing on but lip gloss. My eyebrows are not shaped up, because to me, done is better than perfect. So I knew that I didn't have a lot of time. So I didn't have a lot of time for prep. But what I do is I do like to slap on some lip gloss. I also like to get kind of like my pump up music. So I have music that gets me ready, like my power pose music, if you know what that is. So I love to listen to Beyonce. Okay, I love listening to Beyonce. I love listening to certain upbeat music that gets me like really riled up, like I can do this, and it gets me motivated. You know what I'm saying? And so set the scene like that. But overall, I just want to bring this point home. Do what is comfortable for you, because what works for me may not work for you, and that will affect how confidently you show up online. Something that I always like to use, and has here recently come to a deeper meaning for me, is Deion Sanders. If you know him, big football star, all Hall of Famer, all star, all that. Something that he says a lot is, if you look good, you'll feel good and you'll do good. And initially, when I heard him say that, I thought, well, that's kind of shallow. But like I said, it's gotten a very deep meaning for me, because if you look good, whatever that is defined by you. So if that is a fresh face that I've just washed, my hair slicked back, and I look presentable, I look put together, if that's your definition for that day, because it can change, because today that's what that is for me. Tomorrow it could be, I want a red lip. Who knows? I'm all the things. Okay, that's how I look at it. But whatever looking good is for you, like when you look in the mirror and you're like, you know what, I'm okay to be in front of people, I'm okay to be in front of a camera. When you look good, that makes you feel good about yourself. It makes you feel good about the content that you're putting out. And when you feel good about how you feel, how you look, and how your content look, it's going to do better. That's how the confidence reads across on the camera. Like, yeah, I'm pretty sure y'all can feel how I feel about myself. Okay. Even with no makeup on, just lip gloss on, hair slicked back, I feel good about myself. Okay. The way that my presence on camera, the way that I hold my hands and stuff, it doesn't read as a person who's nervous or awkward. It reads as a person who knows what they're talking about. That's how you get that confidence to come across the screen. Now, this next point bleeds into this last point, but be yourself. Okay. Be yourself. And that means coming as you are. So, like I just fleshed out enough, which so I'm not going to take a lot of time explaining it here, but it's like, don't feel the pressure of like having to have your hair a certain way and having to wear makeup and having to have your background look a certain way. And when you go online, you see all these people have this certain like aesthetic, and I have to have that aesthetic. No, come as you are, because that's really what people are wanting. There's enough people out there doing the trendy things. People want to see authenticity. Don't you? I know I do. I don't want to see everything that looks alike, because I know that we're all unique and genuine and authentic. And so I don't want to see little robots, little clones of people. I want to hear what you have to say. And other people want to hear what you have to say. So be yourself, let it come across online. And honestly, that's honestly the only thing that you can maintain, right? You can't maintain, and I've said this before, you can't maintain what other people are doing. You can't sustain that, but you can be you. And you can always be you, because that's who you are, And so be yourself, come as you are, exactly how you are. So this next tip it's really a tip to help you get away from feeling awkward once you're in front of the camera, right? So like I said, whether you're filming on a camera, like one of the, video cameras, or if you're filming on like your cell phone or your iPad, it's gonna feel initially awkward to just talk, because you're like, I'm not talking to anybody. Like, what am I talking about? I'm cracking jokes and I'm not talking to anybody, right? Or I'm smiling. Who am I smiling at? Where do I look? And all that stuff like that. And all that in that nitty gritty stuff, I really help my coaching clients with their camera presence and camera confidence, because you do need to look a certain place, you know what I'm saying? But it's not so hard in where, like, if you happen to look off, that it's going to mess your video up. You know what I'm saying? But the big thing is to get over that initial awkwardness is imagine or pretend that you're speaking to a specific person. Okay. So who are you speaking to? And speak to that person in your mind. Create this avatar or this profile of a person. And if you are building a brand, or if you have a business, I would say the easiest thing to do is think about who that customer would be. Who is that client that you're speaking to? Don't speak to the thousands or the hundreds or even the tens of people. Speak to the one person. And so for me, when I'm speaking, I am thinking about the person who's like me, who is trying to learn more. I'm trying to, the person who's trying to discover what building a brand is, and what are the things that I wish I would have known, and what do I wish people would have told me, and how they should have told me, For me, I'm a person that's very relatable, down to earth. And so my content must come across like that. You know what I'm saying? And so I speak to people who are like me. And sometimes I even think about conversations that I've had with colleagues, people that I have worked with, where I've had some of these very same conversations with. And I think about them. I visualize them on the other side of the camera. So it takes away that awkwardness. So this tip is very important, especially in the beginning. Think about a person that you're speaking to, even if you want to get so detailed and, put a picture up of them. If it's a family member, if it's a coworker, if it's, anyone, go print off a stock picture offline of this person. Or, if this is a person that you want to give a name to, like, say I'm talking to Tommy on the other side of the camera, and Tommy is a person who's been working for as long as I've been working, or they struggle with this and I am just having a conversation with them. If you have to do that, it helps a lot, trust me. Okay, last tip. Keep it concise but comfortable. Okay. And what I mean by this, and I'm still working on this myself, y'all. Like, I am really working hard to not have long videos, but I am a long winded person because I just love to talk and I love to paint pictures for people and stuff like that. And so, but I understand, don't nobody got time for all that. So I'm trying to be, concise even in my own content. But let me tell you, it has gotten 100 times better since day one. Okay. But I say be concise because you're going to lose your audience. And the more you ramble, the more you kind of put your foot in your mouth and you go off on tangents and then you start second guessing yourself and all that stuff. That's what being long-winded can do for you, as the creator and as the person who's consuming your content. You can lose their interest. So being concise, but you also want to keep in mind, you want to keep it comfortable, because I've definitely watched videos, as me being a consumer. I have watched videos where I felt like the person was so regimented, where I'm like, I wish they would have expounded a little bit more, right? So I always tell people, keep it conversational. That's what I mean about the comfortability aspect. And so something that I do, that has worked for me, not just on social media, not just on making videos on YouTube, but also when I do speaking engagements, I don't write out long notes, right? I do bullet point scripts. So I do suggest that everyone has some type of script or some type of notes, but don't write out full sentences. Don't write out paragraphs. Don't even I'm really, don't write a sentence at all. Write bullet points, things that you can look down that can jog your memory, and then you can go back up to the camera level and you can talk about it. Now, if you are a person who's creating content about a specific subject, it's assumed that you know about this subject, so you don't have to look it up. But let's say there's some things that you're trying to get some research on or whatever to allow your content to be more robust. That's what the planning is prior to the video. But once you press record, you should know what your different points are in your head. And you looking down, like I have literally right here, all of my videos for the month of January are on one page. That's how short of notes I am. Now, mind you, let me also give you a caveat there. I've also been doing this for some years too. So in the beginning, one video was one page and I had a bigger notebook than this. But now I can do 4 videos on one page, and all I'm doing is just making little points. What are the points you want to make, that you want to bring up? And then I speak in front of you guys. And of course, if you do get long-winded, like this video right now, what you're going to see is going to be much shorter than I'm actually shooting it in, because there's editing. So you can edit out the dead space and the extra stuff and the extra takes, but really work on being concise, but make it comfortable and conversational. Okay, guys, that's all I have today. Now, if you have not, let me remind you, all this month, we're going to be talking about video, and just why video, how to do video, showing up on video, what all of that is. What is all of that jazz? And so if you have not already, go back and watch the video prior to this, okay? Where I really talk about how I use video in my own personal brand and how I use it to promote myself and promote my business and stuff like that. And then make sure that you're subscribed and you have your notification bell turned on, because for the rest of the month, I'm going to be getting more in depth on these aspects as well, and explaining a little bit more, so you yourself will be more comfortable with making video and showing up on camera. Now, if you are a person who is ready to get to building your brand and growing your brand, drop down in the description box, because I have some resources that could definitely help you. I think the best The next step for anyone who is interested in working with me is to book a discovery call. I have a few different resources depending on where you are in your journey that could really be of great service to you. Anyways, guys, you've been here sitting with me, Kim, the Digital NP, and I will catch you on the next video. Bye.